Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're here for a recent reads video where I'm going to talk about the last 5 books that I read that were not going to be talked about in another wrap-up video or book review. So I have 5 really great books that I read the last half of March that I can't wait to tell you about. These were all for book club books and reading challenges that I've talked about in other places, but not here on YouTube, so I'd like to tell you guys about them. In the middle of March, I finished All Hallows by Christopher Golden, and I read this for the Spine Breakers book club hosted by Brad Proctor on Discord, and this is a book you might be able to tell by the title that takes place on Halloween, and there are some very spooky things happening. And it gave wonderful nostalgic vibes for Halloween night as a kid. It was also really, really creepy and had some young adult characters. Most of the characters are young adults and a little younger, and it did not feel much like a young adult novel though. This one was right up my alley and I really loved it. Another young adult read that I had was The Honeys by Ryan Sala. And this I read for the Creepy Book Club hosted by Nightmare Maven. The Honeys follows a non-binary character who, in the first scene, is faced with a great tragedy, losing their twin sister, and then our main character goes to the camp that their sister was at to find out what happened, the mystery around what happened, because the opening scene was really intense and strange, and there's definitely a mystery in this one. This one did feel like a young adult novel. The main character faces a lot of adversity at the camp because they are non-binary, and as they're dealing with grief and all of this negativity, it is a very somber book. I liked the story in this, but as far as the horror goes, I didn't think there was enough of it, and I could have used more creepiness. I read a Darcy Coates book in March as well. I read Secrets in the Dark, which is the second book in the Black Winter series. The first book was Voices in the Snow, which I really loved when I read that, and this continues on the story of Claire and Doran writing out this apocalyptic scenario in a very isolated way, but this time they have to kind of venture out from their secluded, snowy house and try to save Claire's sister. I really love this one too. We get to know a lot more about the situation that's going on in this one, which I really, really was happy about, because the first one is just the two of them and they have no idea what's going on. They find out a little bit at the end, but this one really goes further. It was really cool, and there's a lot of journey and a whole lot of creepy scenes involving the horror elements in this book that Darcy Coates really knows how to ramp up the tension. So it was really good. And I read this book in March for the Buzzwordathon, which is hosted by Books and Lala, and the word for the month was secrets, or secret. Next, I read Wild from Lost to Found on the Pacific Crest Trail, which is a nonfiction. It's a memoir of Cheryl Strayed hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, almost all of it. Her whole story of why she decided to do this and how it ended up helping her a lot in her life. So I thought this was really well written and engaging and a fun read, even though not all the topics are fun. This woman had a very hard life. She lost her mother and it kind of sent her on a spiral, kind of disconnected her more from her other family members, and she went to a dark place. She decided to hike the Pacific Crest Trail all these miles by herself, without really being a very big hiker. So it was a learning experience for her in a lot of different ways. This is a really good book. There's also a movie that I really enjoyed for this book as well, but the actual reading experience was definitely worth it. Worth the read. I read this for Memoir March, which was a reading challenge hosted by Strange Mentality Paper, and she recommended this one from a list of memoirs that I have, so thank you for that. This was a great read. And the last book that I read in March that was not part of a readathon or for book review was House of Hollow by Krystal Sutherland, and I read this for a book club horror spotlight read along, which is on Discord, and this is another YA horror book. So much YA going on, I guess. This one I did not like as much as the Honeys. This one was really slow. It had elements that I did like. There was some mysteriousness and weirdness that I was kind of vibing on in the beginning, but it got too long without enough happening, and definitely not enough horror. There was some body horror, but it was not enough. I have found some YA horror that I have liked, but it's usually ones that aren't afraid to go there and ramp up the creepiness. So, House of Hollow by Krystal Sutherland was not really a win for me. It was okay, but not one that I'll remember for very long. I didn't even say what it was about. It's about a family that is strange. All the girls, the sisters, disappeared at one point. No one knew where they were. It was like a big deal. And then they came back. They seemed a little bit different. And then the book is very mysterious, figuring out what the heck happened to these girls when they went missing, when one of the sisters disappears again. And the other sisters are trying to find her. And they have to kind of dig into their past to figure it out. Which sounds like a great premise, and it is. But I think it was trying to go for a more slow slow creeping, maybe literary type of direction, and I was not really into it. What else can I say? Oh, bummer way to end this video. Oh well. Uh, those are the last 5 books that I read that I did not have an opportunity to talk about anywhere on any other videos. If you like this recent reads type video, let me know down below, and I will be back very soon with another book related video. Thanks. Bye.